It's playoff time, y'all. The Eastern Conference is as even as it's been in years, and so far, it's been extremely entertaining to watch. Hey, shout out to them Pelicans, man, for sweeping Portland like that. Honestly, if you seen my last video, I did not see that coming. But anyway, with the wake of the recent rookie talent that's been coming out of the draft like Donovan Mitchell, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons, and so forth, I want to take this time to talk about the greatest rookie seasons of all time. NBA fans, what is up? OG the Beast here, and in today's video, we're gonna strictly discuss my opinion of the top 5 rookie seasons of all time. Now, my criteria for making this list or coming up with this list is solely based on the impact each player had on his team. Meaning, were you just putting up empty stats on a bad team, or did your numbers actually transition into wins, dubs, W's, whatever you want to call it? If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, and let's get this show on the road. As y'all all know, if you think I'm speaking that nonsense, holla at me down in them comments, man. So y'all know I ain't for none. I'm here to have some fun, so let's get this top 5 done. Drop my intro.
It's still a ref, we got the hottest staff. In 03, I made a dynasty like Robert Kraft.
Number 5, Michael Jordan. In North Carolina, Jordan made his name by doing this.
The time, 18. Shot, Jordan, Michael Jordan.
That's the shot Jordan hit as a freshman to seal the victory and the NCAA title. They could have easily gone with big game James Worthy in that situation, who was actually the best player on the team at the time, but they chose to go with the young Michael Jordan and ended up being the best decision they could have made. He will go on to be an All-American as a sophomore and a National Player of the Year as a junior. He would later be selected by the Chicago Bulls in the 1984 draft behind Sam Bowie and Hakeem Olajuwon. John Stockton and Charles Barkley also came out of this draft, but Jordan proved to be the best rookie out of them all, averaging 28.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 2.4 steals while shooting 51% from the field. He would make the All-NBA second team, All-Rookie first team, Rookie of the Year, and be an All-Star starter as a rookie. Speaking of All-Star, we all know Jordan and Isaiah hated each other, right?
Isaiah was the general. He was the guy that would yap at his teammates and say, knock him on the ass, do whatever you got to do.
This is where it all started. Quick story. Jordan quickly gained notoriety and publicity throughout the league pretty early, which made some of the current stars in the NBA at the time very jealous and upset, especially Isaiah Thomas. So because the fans voted Jordan a starter in the All-Star game as a rookie, Thomas devised some sort of a scheme or plan to freeze out Jordan in the game by telling the fellow All-Stars not to pass him the ball throughout the entire All-Star game. Of course they agreed. Jordan ended his first All-Star contest with just 9 points and 6 rebounds, mainly off putbacks and free throws. Jordan would remember this treatment he received during the All-Star game, because during the very next game against the Pistons, he would drop 49 points and 15 rebounds, also to add 5 assists and 4 steals, inevitably getting his revenge on Isaiah Thomas for freezing him out. Anyways, the Bulls will go from 27 wins the season before to 38 wins, with Jordan propelling them to the playoffs for the first time in 3 seasons. He would eventually lose to the number 1 ranked defensive team in the Milwaukee Bucks that season in the first round. Still a great rookie season. Number 4, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then known as Lou Alcindor, in 1966 he led UCLA to a 30-0 record and a national championship in his freshman campaign. Standing at 7 foot 2 inches tall, he completely dominated at the collegiate level with a variation of moves that were unguardable. So, the following year, guess what the NCAA decided to do? These fools outlawed dunking. They outlawed dunking the basketball, y'all. Then came up with some lame excuse like, we're looking out for the player's safety. Yeah, right. Don't matter anyways, because Jabbar would create the most unguardable move in NBA history. The sky hook. The NCAA would later realize how stupid they were and lifted the ban in 1976. Anywho, Kareem would be selected by the Milwaukee Bucks in 1970 with the first pick in the draft. In his rookie debut, He dropped 29 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. But his most memorable performance that year was his 43-point, 19-rebound game against the Celtics. He would finish the season averaging 28.8 points, 14.5 rebounds, and 4.1 assists per game. He was second in scoring and third in MVP voting as a rookie. Rookie of the Year, he also won All Defensive Second Team, All NBA Second Team, All Rookie First Team. The list goes on. The Bucks before Kareem, 27-55. After Kareem, 56-26. Big turnaround. They will go on to beat the 76ers in the first round of the playoffs, but would lose to the New York Knicks in the semifinals in a 4-1 series. Shout out to Mr. Skyhook. Number 3, David Robinson. In 1987, the Spurs found themselves in kind of a weird position, right? With the first pick in the draft, they took David Robinson, but there was a small problem. David Robinson was in the military and still had a 2-year obligation to fulfill before even being able to play in the NBA. Knowing this, of course, they still drafted him, but he didn't play with the Spurs until 1989. At first, Robinson didn't want to even sign with the Spurs, but they agreed. Check this out. The Spurs agreed to make every year of his contract equal to the amount of the highest paid player at that time, and the Admiral would make an immediate impact. With a pretty stacked draft that included players like Horace Grant, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, and Mark Jackson, Robinson averaged about 23.3 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 1.5 steals through 82 games, making him the Rookie of the Year. He also made the All-NBA First Team and the All-Rookie First Team. His statement game came mid-season against the Golden State Warriors when this dude dropped 41 points and 17 rebounds. Don't forget to add the 5 blocks in there too. Dude was a beast. San Antonio definitely saw what they had in Robinson, because he would take a team that won just 21 games the previous season and turn that into 56 wins during his rookie campaign. He would, of course, lead the team to the playoffs, where they would sweep the Denver Nuggets in the first round before eventually losing to Portland in the semifinals in 7 games. He would average 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks in the postseason that year, finishing off one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. Number 2, Larry Bird. Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1978, even though the Celtics knew that he wanted to return for another year of college. You see, according to the NBA rules at the time, kind of like the David Robinson situation we just talked about, if a player was 4 years removed from high school, he was eligible to be drafted by a team. Now, there was no guarantee that that player would sign with the team, so the NBA gives you a 2-year duration to put the ink to the paper with that player you once drafted, or that player gets to go back into the draft pool, thus wasting a draft pick. The extra year in college wasn't wasted by Bird, as he would be the National Player of the Year at Indiana State, averaging 28 points and 15 rebounds. After the season was over, tragedy struck. During the spring, Larry Bird was playing a pickup game of softball, right? He was playing the outfield. First of all, who knew Larry Bird played softball anyways? That's crazy. But anyway, while playing, Bird would attempt to make a diving catch and broke his index finger in the process. Now, knowing the time was coming for him to have to negotiate and sign with the Celtics, things couldn't get any worse than this. What makes matters worse is there's stories told that he actually hid the injuries from the Celtics, thinking that if he told them, it would affect his negotiation power. Bird's finger never really healed throughout his career, which is why his shot comes off his right ear instead of over his head like he did in college. He would eventually sign with the Celtics on the $3.6 million contract. Bird would make a huge rookie splash, averaging 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 1.7 steals a game, while shooting 47% from the field, 40% from 3, and 83% from the free throw line as a small forward. He would, of course, take home Rookie of the Year, All-NBA First Team, All-Rookie First Team, and be an All-Star starter as a rookie, just like our number 5 was. Before Bird arrived, the Celtics won only 29 games. With no new acquisitions or additions the following year except drafting Larry Bird, they won 61 games, which is the biggest single season turnaround in NBA history at that time. They would, of course, get to the playoffs and have a first round bye, which is unheard of to me. I don't know why the NBA even thought about doing that, but let's move on. They would go on to sweep the Rockets in the second round and lose to the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. What's crazy is if the Celtics would have beat the Sixers, they would have advanced to the NBA Finals, and the two rookies, Bird and Magic, would have gotten to square off for the second time in a row in a title game. And the #1 rookie season of all time is, drumroll please, Earvin Magic Johnson. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, Bird and Magic played against each other in the NCAA championship game. It was told to be the most watched basketball game ever at the time, as Magic pulled it out to take home the national championship. Soon after, he would declare for the NBA draft despite not finishing his communications degree he so desperately desired. Magic would get drafted by the Lakers in 1979 with the first pick, and the greatest point guard in NBA history was born. He would go on to average 18 points, 7.3 assists, 7.7 rebounds on 53% shooting. Only other rookie in NBA history to at least average 18 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds is Oscar Robertson. One December game, Magic would make an argument for elite status as a rookie, putting up 24 points, 16 rebounds, and 12 assists in a triple-double. Magic would take the Lakers from a 47-35 record the year before to a 60-22 record, with only himself being acquired during the offseason. Magic Johnson would head into the playoffs with the league MVP on his team in Kareem, but even with Kareem the previous year, the Lakers got bounced out of the playoffs in the second round. So fast forward to Magic's rookie season, he would put them over the top, making it to the NBA Finals. Kareem would suffer an ankle injury in Game 5 that he was able to play through at the time, but eventually it got worse. Stories were told that it was so bad that it actually swelled up to the size of a golf ball. He would be held out of Game 6, and guess who stepped up to play center? If y'all ain't know, 6'9" point guard Magic Johnson. Filling in for Kareem, playing center as a rookie, Magic Johnson would show up and show out, putting up godly numbers: 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists, beating the Sixers en route to the NBA championship. He also became the first and only rookie to win Finals MVP. So Bird won Rookie of the Year, and Magic won the Finals MVP. Shout out to the greatest point guard to ever dribble a basketball. Now, I know you guys may feel that either I left somebody off the list that should have been on the list, or guys that made the list ain't high enough or low enough, or whatever the case may be. Let me know down in them comments what y'all think. Let me reiterate, this list was prioritized about team success. Did your numbers transition into dubs? Team success was a big part of this list. I usually post every single Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, so make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can stay in tune if you love basketball the way I do. Anyway, y'all, I had a great time. I enjoyed your company. OG out.